like there was a big chance I was not going to pass this road test. Hey trophies, and welcome back to my channel. It is Sophie, your favorite trophy, and I'm back again with another video. So today I'm going to be telling you guys how I failed my driver's test. I failed my driver's test. I'm sorry I had to scream at you guys, but like just thinking about this past situation just gets me so upset because you guys, I failed my road test. Y'all, people will probably look at me crazy. Don't mind my nails. I'm not getting acrylics anymore. Look at this. This looks like Jesus needs to help me, because he does. So I failed my road test. During my senior year of college, I was like, I'm determined to get my license, because when I get back to New York, I do not want anything stopping me, you guys. I want to be out on the road. I want my freedom. I want to be able to drive when I go with my friends to travel and stuff like that. I don't want like to have to deal with Ubers and stuff like that. I'm gonna just drive everywhere. I was with this guy, and while I was in Pennsylvania, I relied on him a lot to like drive me around for like groceries and stuff like that. Where I went to school, I was in the boonies, y'all. I was in the boonies. There was like a Walmart that was 20 minutes away. Yeah, like that was the problem. Like I needed to learn how to drive because I kept having to rely on people. And in New York, it's fine. Like in New York, you could get away with like not needing to learn how to drive because there's mass transit, and Ubers at the time before the pandemic were cheap, but now Ubers are like dang near at least $15 anywhere you go. So this guy, he was helping me learn how to drive, but in Pennsylvania. So I was like using his car. I was learning like the basic stuff, like how to like park, how to like feel comfortable on the road, like, you know, driving straight, turning, merging into other lanes, things like that. So all of that basic stuff I learned in Pennsylvania. And then, you guys, I came back to New York. I took the permit test and I passed. So I was like, yes, like I feel like, you know, one step closer to actually getting my license. And my parents, they're so nice or whatever. Like I got a car before I actually got my license because I really thought I was gonna, sorry, there's like a dog. I really thought I was going to learn how to drive. Boom, boom, boom. Like I was gonna learn how to drive. I was gonna be out on the road. Like, you know, forget mass transit. What is that? Sophie don't know who that is because she got her license.
But no, it wasn't like that.
So what happened was, in New York, before you could take the actual road test, you need to get a certain amount of hours in a driving school where you learn how to drive with someone who's an actual licensed driving instructor. This company that is in Queens, and y'all, this place, this is why I hate certain places in New York. Like there's a lot of places you can get a lot of things for the low in New York, but sometimes it's just not the quality. It's just really not the quality and what you need. I know you guys are like,
where are you going to? We want to know how you failed your driving test.
We're gonna get there, all right? We're gonna get there. I just had to tell you guys a backstory because you guys won't understand. When I was going to the driving school, I was like, you know, I'm a learner. Like I like to learn. I pick up things fairly quickly. I'm like, you tell me something, I'm listening. I'm not the type to be distracted. I'm not the type to half-ass anything. The driving instructor I had was younger and a male, and I'm not saying that that's bad or anything, but he was just a young male. And
Bruh.
See, this is how I know. This is how I know this driving school, it was not it. It was not teaching me what I needed to learn to pass the driver's test. This dude was letting me do the wrong things. Why was he letting me do the wrong things when I'm trying to learn how to drive and take the test? So I had about 5 lessons before I actually went and took the exam. We did it around where the school was. Then they did it around my house so that, like, you know, I get comfortable on, I guess, different types of roads and stuff like that. And then we kept doing it around where the school was. And it was not working out with me and this driving instructor. He was like super dry. He didn't give me a lot of feedback when I was actually driving, and say if I was doing something wrong, right? So say like, okay, he's telling me to pull out into the road, like to, start driving. He would be like, I would do something wrong and he would be like, oh no, like he would fix it himself. And I'm like, that's not helping me. He wouldn't explain anything or anything like that. But I was like, okay, he's like kind of telling me how to fix it, even though he's not pointing out what's wrong. He was just kind of just fixing it. And I was like, okay, like whatever. I was young at the time. I was like not, realizing, hey, this is a bad sign. You need to not allow this to happen, especially because you're paying your money. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'm going through this whole driving lessons, da da da. And then this man, I was freaking coming out after a lesson, right? And homie saw my mom and he was like, oh, is that your mom? And I was like, yeah, like that's my mom or whatever. And he was like, oh, is she married? What? Like, are you actually trying to ask me about my mother?
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Focus on getting me ready for this dang road test. I was good on my 3-point U-turns. I was good with like pulling out, not braking too hard, merging into other lanes. However, the one thing that I kept messing up on was parallel parking. On the last driving session that I had with my driving instructor, I remember asking my driving instructor, do you feel like I'm ready to take the test, to take the road test? And he was like, well, if you do a good job, you're ready. And I'm like, what? If you do a good job, you're ready? How is that gonna help me? Bro, you're the one who's certified in teaching people how to drive, preparing them for the actual course. And then you're saying if you do a good job, then you're ready. What does that mean? If I do a good job, I'm ready. It's either I'm ready or I'm not ready. It doesn't matter my amount of effort. It's either I have the ability to do it or not. It's so frustrating thinking about this situation because of what happens during my road test, okay? Like there was a big chance I was not gonna pass this road test because I felt like this man, what he said was a little bit like red flag. I am good at comprehending what people are saying. A lot of people think that like when I'm quiet or like in situations like that the morning of I go to the driving school. It was me and this other woman who was with me who was gonna take the test at the same place. And I like was talking to the woman. I was like, oh, like, is this your first time taking the road test? And she was like, no, this isn't my first time. I took it before and I failed. We are on our way to the site where we're gonna take the actual road test. And this man is blaring bachata, blaring Spanish music, not really following the same stuff that we need to know to actually pass the test. He was rolling into intersections. I'm pretty sure he wasn't even wearing his seatbelt, you guys. I'm not joking. I'm really gonna fail. Like, I'm really gonna fail this. Like, so we get to the actual site. It's a long line. Like, people, like cars are lined up and then you move up whenever you're gonna take the test. So we're waiting. They were asking us like, oh, okay, who wants to go first? And the woman in the back was like, I don't want to go first. And I was like, okay, like I'll go first, like whatever. Like I'm not someone who's like scared. If whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. It doesn't matter if I go first or last or middle or 15. I was trying not to like look at my mom and dad because my mom, she'll stress me out. My mom gets more anxious about things I'm gonna do than I actually do because she's such a supportive mom. So I was just like, damn, I'm really like, this is gonna be it. Like, this is the test. Like, this is what I prepared for. This is it. Like, it's like one of those moments where like you're building up. Like, I'm looking at people as they're coming back in from taking the road test. Some people look sad. Some people are super happy. A lot of people look disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that day, a lot of people look disappointed. Like, they didn't pass on that day. So the car pulls up. And then there's like instructors coming from like after they like write up whatever paper and like evaluate the person's driving, they come back and then they get another person, they get another car and things like that. So there was like 2 instructors. I was hoping to get the male instructor. Mom is always like, oh, get the male instructors because it's more likely you're gonna pass for them. Even her, like my mom, she didn't pass the first time, but she passed the second time. And the first time she had a woman examiner, and the second time she had a male examiner. And so it was like a man and a woman who were like standing. And then the woman, she looked kind of like, she didn't look mean necessarily, but she looked like, you know, typical like people that work for the department, like work for what do you call those people who are city workers? Works for the city, y'all. They do not look happy. They do not look like they want to be there. The man is coming, so I'm like, like I'm gonna get the man. Man goes to the car in the back, and I'm like, oh god damn it. And I was like, ugh. So the woman comes to the car, right? And she is like, looks in the front of the car. She opens it and she's like, the completion of the hours of training. And then she was like, let me see your permit. So I give it to the lady, right? Okay, so she comes in, and then I have to like do the things where I make sure the lights are on. I like start the car. But of course you have to put the seatbelt on. So I did all of that. All of that was good, fine, whatever. I merge on to start driving, and then I turn. It's going fine, whatever. You know, I'm stopping at the stoplight. I'm stopping at the stop signs, waiting. You know, people were coming, so of course I waited, you know, right of way, all that good stuff. And then I'm like going onto the street, right? And then she says, parallel park right here. In my mind, it was like, parallel park? Parallel park? What is parallel park again? I guess she could tell that I was anxious. But it gets worse, you guys. So I initiate the parallel parking, right? I line the car up to the car that was in front of where I'm gonna park. I do the right, left, right. You know, I go in. I thought I had enough space. And long and behold, I didn't. I didn't have enough space. I'm trying to turn, looking back. And she was like,
Did you look back?
it like scares me. I'm like, what? Am I looking? I'm like, yes, I'm looking. Like, I was like, yes. And like, so anytime, or at least during a test for me, any kind of test, whatever, it's not even just singular to this experience, but anytime I'm doing any kind of examination or whatever, and someone asks me a question when I'm performing something, I'm like, wait, what do you mean? It like throws me off. She was like looking and then writing something down, and I'm like, ugh. And then I'm like, you know, I'm frustrated because I'm like, why are you asking me this? I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm very good with instructions. A, B, C, and then D, that's me. And so I'm doing it or whatever. I'm like, you know, making sure I'm doing all the cues, because I was reading on Reddit pages and whatever that, you know, doing those things are very important. Even though you know you're doing something right, if you don't look all the way back and turn your head and stuff like that, they'll take points off. So I was making sure that I was doing it. She finished writing, sit down. She opens the car door to look out, and then she like slams the door, and she's like, she was like, okay, like that, with the worst attitude, you guys. Like, I can't even do the attitude. Like, I wish I could do the attitude so you guys could see, but I can't even do it. So she was like writing something down. I was like, oh my god, like I already knew I failed. I was like, oh my gosh, are you dead ass right now? And she was like,
You don't want to fix it?
worst condescending attitude. So like, you don't want to fix it? And I was like, oh, okay, like, let me fix it. And then I was trying to fix it, y'all. Like, I'm an anxious person. When I'm in situations like that, and I'm like being examined and like looked at, and like someone's being like kind of like rude and like, you know, not patronizing, condescending, whatever you want to call it. Like, when someone's doing that, I'm like already nervous, anxious and stuff like that, you could forget it. Like, I could have just got out the car and walked back to my parents, because like I already knew from that point forward I was done. Like, making me anxious, and I was already emotional. I couldn't fix it, even though I knew how to. And she was just like literally like that. She was like I was wasting her time because I couldn't do it. So she was like, 3-point U-turn, Right? And I did the 3-point U-turn good, but at that point, as I mentioned, I was already emotional. I was already distraught because this woman, she was just tearing me down. I was damn near shedding tears as I finished the 3-point U-turn and started down the road to head back. She then was like, let's head back to the site. And then I was like, you don't want to see me go on the main road? Like, in my head, I was like, she doesn't even want to see me go on the main road. So I was like, ugh. We head back to the site, and then so where the site was, you basically go back towards the same route that you go to do the parallel parking and the 3-point U-turn. Someone was coming out of the parking lot, and I was gonna come in, and so I waited for that person to turn. She was like, you can go, like, and I went in, and then she was like, park right here. And I was like, oh my god, this woman. So I park, right? She was like, you're gonna have to learn how to parallel park. You're gonna have to learn how to do this before you come back and get your license. And then she like writes it, and then she prints out the ticket. I just took it from her. I didn't even say anything. I got out of the car, and my parents were there, and my mom and my dad were like, oh. And I was bawling my eyes out, you guys. I was crying. I do not like failure, you guys. That's one thing about me. I do not like failing at things. I'm gonna get over it, but in the moment, I'm gonna be sad about it. And not only that, like, I was sad. Like, I take L's. Like, it's fine. Like, I wouldn't have been so emotional and so like all over the place if she wasn't rude to me. But that woman was rude. She was rude and nasty, and I reported her to DMV. If someone, like, I have anxiety. You really think you talking to me like that and being so condescending and acting like I'm wasting your time is actually gonna help me pass? You do not create a nice energy for me to perform well. You're just being a dick and an asshole and making a situation even worse. I was distraught. I was like doing my internship at the time, and I was so emotional, and I already felt a headache coming on that I texted my internship supervisor. I was like, I'm not coming in today. Like, I'm sorry. Like, something came up. Like, I'm not feeling well. I can't come in today. But I did pass my driving test on the second try. I want to do a video talking about how I passed my test. All right, you guys. So that is how I failed my damn driving test. I hope you guys liked this story time. If you guys want me to do more videos in my car, let me know, because this is actually fun. And I like that the natural lighting is like pretty out here. I like it. So don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and comment down below what you thought about this video. I will see you guys on the flip side. Peace.